first thing that I want to highlight is the crab feeder, because the episode starts with the crab feeder.
Mhm.
I kind of wish that they actually expounded on him first before, because that's one of my main issues with House of the Dragon. It's like it's going a bit too fast, in my opinion. It's going
Mhm.
given with the time skip, because in my opinion, time skips should be used very, very sparingly. Like, it's usually something like kind of like a season finale kind of thing, that I'd rather see that in a season finale and the time skip in the next season, something
Mhm.
not on a per episode basis. But anyway, yeah, so it starts off with the crab feeder, and the guy who's tied up, it's like, curse you, you crab feeder, I hope you die. He mentions his actual name. I think its name is Prince that Greyhar, and he slightly mentions his mom and his dad. I
Mhm.
kind of wish that they expounded on that a lot more. Like, because we know what happens at the end of the episodes. Like, it's the end of the crab feeder. But I would have appreciated it, like, there's like kind of like a flashback story of the crab feeder on how he
Mhm.
came to be, because clearly the crab feeder he's a prominent figure up until this point. Like, the crab feeders attacking our shipments, the crab feeders killing our people. My question is why?
Mhm.
What led him to do that? If he used to be a prince, take note, a prince. Like, I would have wanted more to see that character development, how he came to be, from being a prince, from being some sort of prominent bandit of sorts.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's the first thing I wanted to. I wish they could have expounded more. Yeah, so that's the start of the episode. Then the next, right after the scene with Daemon starting to that was the first day of Daemon taking a stand against the crab feeder. Then
Mhm.
it transitions to Aegon. So fast forward 3 years later, yeah, they did a time skip again.
Yep.
Uh, so it's Alicent has gave birth to Aegon, who's already 2 years old, and she's
Mhm.
already there's another incoming child. Which, okay, so we were celebrating Aegon's birthday, and people expect him to be the next in line for the Iron Throne. Then
Yeah.
Otto is now hand of the king, as mentioned also in that scene. Then yeah, so it's 2 years. So after that 3 years, Daemon is still fighting the crab feeder, which is, I don't know. I find it kind of strange too, lore wise, given how powerful dragons are supposed to be. That after three
Yeah.
years, Daemon is still trying to get rid of the crab feeder.
Yeah, like I believe, like, like to the point of like the crap eater, like, like, I'm just gonna hide in this cave, for 3 years. So like
Yeah,
that,
it's like,
your fires can't get me.
yeah, it's like, it's considering how powerful the dragons are supposed to be. Like, it
Yeah.
shouldn't even last for like in my opinion, it shouldn't even last for like a week. But anyway, yeah, that's that's another thing.
And the thing is that they as we know, by the end of the episode, they had two dragons.
Yeah,
Right? What was it? The Valyrian boy? I forgot his name, but like he has his dragon, and I believe he's half Valyrian and half Targaryen, I believe, right? Since he's
yeah,
the
yeah.
he's the other dude's son, and yeah, like you said, like no more than a week, right? Like you have two dragons that could just like fly down and just like blow fire into the damn caves, and they're all dead, right? Unless this
Yeah.
caves go like underground for millions of miles or something like that, but it's just sure, why not? Go ahead,
Okay.
go ahead with your crap fear 3 year battle and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I think it would have benefited more if they didn't. But then again, they're trying to build Aegon. That's why they kind of fast forwarded a bit. But it 3 years seems a bit much in my opinion. Maybe a year or two. I mean Aegon is like very young. I mean, it didn't have to be 2 years old or three. Maybe 1 year old would have been fine in my opinion.
Mhm.
Okay, so then Rhaenyra and Alicent. Okay, so they're not on good terms anymore, given what happened. Given what's happened, then yeah, Alicent is now the queen, obviously. Then Viserys kind of implies in the carriage that she should have on their way to the hunt, the royal hunt.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra, okay, you should give me grandchildren. Yeah, he's kind of like letting her on, like she should get married, she should have children. Then when they arrive at the hunt, that's when we first meet Jason Lannister, who is actually trying to woo Rhaenyra. Then
Yeah.
that's when Rhaenyra realized, oh crap,
This
my
is a
dad
setup.
set me
He's
up to
trying
all
to
these
fix me up,
tutors.
arranged marriage.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually had the heated argument in front of everyone. It's like
Yeah.
Otto's like, yeah, in an effort to break it off. Uh, Your Highness, we spotted a white heart, which is apparently a symbolism of his fit to rule. If he
Mhm.
manages to find the white heart, which is okay, which is pretty fine, which is good for me. So I have no issues with that.
Mhm.
Then I didn't really give it much. I didn't really. It didn't really strike me the scene where Rhaenyra was talking with all the other noble ladies about the war on the Stepstones. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's like, oh, Rhaenyra, what do you think about the going on the war on the Stepstones? Like,
Mhm.
Rhaenyra says, I have no idea. I have never been to the Stepstones, but they were like, but your uncle is there waging the war. Then Rhaenyra's like, yeah, I haven't talked to my uncle in years. Then it's like,
Mhm.
I'm not sure what point they were trying to drive there, but then yeah, it's like the noble ladies were insistent about the issue. Then Rhaenyra just shuts them up. It's like, and here we are drinking, sipping wine and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think it's okay. I didn't see anything special about that scene.
Mhm.
It's it's probably afterwards that when she storms off, when she got after her argument with her dad with Viserys, that
Mhm.
she storms off. Then Kristen Cole gives chase, follows her.
Yeah.
I think they're building them up to have a relationship of sorts.
I would
First,
say
I
so.
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the previous episode, I was like, maybe not. Maybe it's not a romantic sort of way, but I'm starting to think it is, given the what happened in this episode.
Mhm.
Because yeah, when Kristen Cole catches up to Rhaenyra, it's like, what happened? Rhaenyra was like, yeah, this dad sold me off to Jason Lannister. Then the
Mhm.
first reaction of Kristen was like, do you want me to kill him? That was
That's.
there's,
I love that. I love that.
I was kind of I was honestly I was kind of what that's it. I was like, I thought he would answer like, oh, your dad was trying to set you up for the good of the kingdom. But the first thing he says, do you want me to kill him? So it's like, okay, so yeah, I think they're building up to be the love interest of Rhaenyra. That's how
Mhm.
I see it. Which is yeah, I can see how given how the episode ended, I can see it. I can see this happening, and it's gonna uh rattle the cages even more in the kingdom. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's generally interesting. Then okay, afterwards, mm, okay, then Jason approaches Viserys to hand him the spear to
Yeah.
gift him a spear because like then Jason tries to convince Viserys that I'm a good suitor for Rhaenyra. She's gonna have
Yeah.
a good life. She's gonna live prestigiously in
Yeah. It's like
Cass.
he already like assumed that he was going to be like what's it called, Rhaenyra's like husband. Like he already like it's gonna be me. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I'm giving you this big dig spear. It's made in freaking Casterly Rock and shit, and it's gonna be awesome. And like I'm a Lannister, and we're like super rich, so
Mhm.
hey, we it's me or nobody. And he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think it's typical Lannister. Like
Yeah.
it's Lannister all the way. Which is yeah, it's just pretty good, pretty interesting. Then yeah, I like how Viserys like rebutted him. So do you have do you have any dragons to offer? Because Jason said like it's like if you're offered a dragon, would you not take it? So it's like oh so you have dragons? Like no I don't.
No,
I don't
no,
have any
we have You want another spear? I'll
Yeah.
give you another spear. But I I I actually really actually this is probably my favorite episode out of the three. I know this is not much so far, but like of course this is excluding the end of the what's it called again, like the big battle.
Mhm.
I love the part, I love the exchange between what's it called again, Viserys. Like Viserys and anyone who he talks to, you could tell that he is a distraught king. Like he's like, damn it, I just want to do what's right. I just want to make everyone happy, and I'm
Mhm.
fucking up right now. Like I'm letting down my daughter. Like I'm because he thinks with his heart and not with his brain, right? He's thinking
Mhm.
like in episode 2, oh you have to remarry, and it was like, I know marrying this 12-year-old girl will benefit the kingdom the best. We will be strong. Valeria and King's Landing, two Targaryen houses, really really strong, right? But I'm gonna go with my heart because I don't know her and she's too young. So that's already a bad step on his end, and he knew that he fucked up because he lost one of his like council dudes, right? The Valerian council guy, and not stepping up, taking care of the crab feeder, and then having him turn to Damon. And now you have this, like, I'm happy now. I have a son, and then I have another kid that's on the way, and everyone's happy around me. But I lost a couple people, and then now, I at, at the cost of my daughter. Me and my daughter are sort of estranged now, and 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 seeing his emotional damage, right? And seeing him so
Mhm.
like emotional, and like it's just so his is the torment that he's going through, that you could feel that he thinks that he's doing what's right. And I'm sort of growing to like his character a lot. like
Yeah,
like
for
I'm
sure.
like the first couple episodes I'm like, I don't really care. The second episode I'm like, sure, but this episode in particular I'm like, I'm liking his character development a lot.
Yeah, yeah. As we mentioned earlier, like showing vulnerability makes the character more interesting, which is
Yes.
but they really showed it prominently here for Viserys.
Mhm.
Like you said, every person he talked to, it's like it shows a side of him. Like it shows so much of his lack of confidence in his decision making and his regrets, which I
Mhm.
yeah, which I definitely I like too for sure.
Yeah, like, and then you have the scene where what's it called again? The two boar scenes, right? Not boar, the two hunt scenes. The first hunt was you have what's it called again? The king. I'm trying to hunt down the what's it called, the white stag, right? And
Mhm.
that's supposed to symbolize, that it's supposed to have like some kind of big symbolic gesture to it. And they ended up catching a regular stag, and they had to like tied, like four people had to tie down or hold down the stag. And then you have the king, comes and like stabs the what's it called again, stabs the stag, and like didn't one shot the stag. And you're like, and then imagine having like all your king's guard and all the people who sort of look up to you, and part of your council and all the other houses look up to you, like, we're holding this down for you, we're telling you where to hit, and you still didn't kill it the first shot. Like, and just of that, like, and you already see his, like, he already lost two of his fingers. And like, it's, you can tell he's a weak king. And I think everyone sees that, and but they're just not saying it. And then you have the other scene with Rhaenyra with the boar coming and stuff like that. Like, I don't know about you, but while we actually have an actual issue here, like in United States, with feral hogs actually like destroying shit, like killing people and stuff like that. And
Oh, okay, okay,
they're
yeah.
actually freaking wild. And they like, their tusks are around like, 8 to like 10 inches, and they will like gore you until you die. And they're crazy. And the fact that Rhaenyra was able to survive like a whole minute or something like that without dying, and it was crazy. But of course, like, she got help from what's it
Kristen,
called
yeah,
again? Yeah, Kristen and stuff, like, and then like her having her symbolically seeing the white stag. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
like I like that a lot. But my favorite part of the entire episode wasn't at the end with the battle. Was actually the exchange at in the throne room between Rhaenyra and Viserys.
Yes, yes,
That's my
same,
favorite
the same.
scene.
Yes, me too, me too. We're in
Mhm.
the same boat as that.
Yeah, it's just like thinking about like a daughter who's like always been like, dad giving like tells you what to do, don't do this. Dad, your dad does everything for you, and then you never have a say in anything, and then like literally coming up to her and saying, you can choose whoever you want to marry. I'm not gonna tell you who. Like it's because like it sort of goes back to Damon in the second episode. I'm just thinking about it now. Like he's like, I never got to pick who I wanted to marry, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and then I think that sort of stuck with Rhaenyra this past 3 years. And
yeah,
then she's
yeah.
like, I don't want you to pick out my husband. I want to pick him out. I want to pick out who I want to marry. And then the fact that Viserys like, you can do that. Like for me, I thought that was a very big, like sort of like a big moment, a big character moment between both of these
Yeah,
characters. And they're
yes,
like,
yes,
they
for
finally
sure.
like, maybe their relationship isn't going to be as estranged as we thought it was.
Yeah,
But yeah, man, I thought the scene was great. Like
yeah,
just between those two.
yeah. My only gripe with that scene, yeah, I really love the scene too. Don't get me wrong. It's like Rhaenyra saying, "I don't want to marry." Then at first, Viserys like, "No, you have to marry. That's why I'm referring to all these suitors to you." But then after that dialogue, it's like, um, if you'd married out of political power, Viserys should have married the 12-year-old kid, not, right? Not
Yeah.
not Allison. So it's like, yeah, that was like, yeah, I fucked up that one. I admit.
Yeah.
So I kind of married who I wanted. So that's when he had the realization. Yeah, okay, you must marry, but it is of your own choosing. Solidify your claim, which is for me. Yeah, you should have had this conversation. The thing is, you should have had this conversation 3 years ago.
Yeah.
You didn't have to wait for 3 years to have this awkward relationship. I think that was the criticism with this 3 year jump. Apart from it being kind of unreal in terms of Damon fighting the crab feeder, I think that's too long too. It's
Yeah.
also like it didn't have to wait 3 years. It's like the writers forget that 3 years has passed. It didn't have to be 3 years for Rhaenyra and Viserys to be in an awkward relationship. I mean, they could have talked about it like almost right away. Like the moment that at least after the shock that Viserys said that he was gonna marry Alicent, like not long after, they could have had this conversation already. Because if you were Rhaenyra, of course you're gonna think, "Oh no, I'm losing my stake to the Iron Throne." Of course she's gonna think naturally. She's gonna think that. But then Viserys for some reason did not give that assurance until that scene.
Yeah.
That's my only gripe. Apart from that, the scene is well done. It's like, okay, they've come to terms with each other. They know now what to do. They made compromises with each other, which is very great. Like it's, as you said, it's not as, the relationship is not as distant as the first two episodes initially imply.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite scene too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I think the only thing that my I was when I was watching with my wife, like she was like, "Oh, hug her, hug each other," right? It's like,
Yeah.
of course that would be like a very, but that would sort of make it like very like, I don't know, Disney. It's like, oh, they hug each other, and then like emotional music starts playing or something like that. But
yeah.
but all right, now let's go talk about the last scene of the what's it called again, of the episode, which in my opinion, I think a lot of people's favorite was the scene
for sure.
And so it's been 3 years and they have not sort of like gained any traction by like complete like removing the crab feeder. I think according to one of the Valyrian people, they're like, Damon's actually making everything worse, right? And then you have what's it called again, there's a scene between I forgot who it was. It was Viserys and someone else, and they're like, the crab feeders, they're going crazy, and they and your brother actually needs help. And he's like, I will send help, but he would rather die than actually ask for help, right? So he sends help anyways. So we know the help is coming. And then and then what's it called again? Seeing that like he receives the note from from the king, and he opens it, and he just completely beats the shit out of that guy. He's like,
Yeah.
"You piece of shit!" Literally like,
No.
fuck the messenger.
yeah. At first, I didn't get what was happening until after until the show revealed what the contents of the message was. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's why. Yeah, because
Yeah.
the moment that Viserys sends reinforcements, he loses the credit. Daemon loses the credit of defeating the crab
Yes.
eaters. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's and the thing is that uh as Damon is a very strong character, and I feel that he's such a Matt Smith does an amazing job, like acting this kind of character who's in like distraught and like just like really like there's like this, you could tell something's mentally like fucking with him. And I I really like the scene where like there was no dialogue. He doesn't say a word, right?
Yeah.
In this like in this late the latter of the episode, like he doesn't say anything, and it just is really cool. I thought it was a fantastic scene, and you can tell like he's like, I don't want help. It's because if I receive help from him, like all my work here will be for nothing. Like you said, like all the credit will go towards the king, and all my work here would have been for naught. And like if I'm trying to show that I have the rightful claim of the throne, I need to be able to show my strength. I cannot show any weakness. And I think that like the whole like fake out with the crab feeders was a very good sort of identifying like trait that he had, that shows that he's capable of doing, like he's very cunning as well. He's very like he can play like the trickster, like, oh, I'm gonna, for the fact that he walks out and he brings out the white flag and he's like, I put my sword up, hit my Valyrian sword, and then go ahead, I surrender. And then he sort of does like a fake out. The only thing that I have a problem with, but at the end of this at the end of this episode, was the fact that like it took him that long to get shot.
Yeah, yeah.
He was like
A lot of
dodging
plot
all
armor.
arrows.
A lot of plot armor for sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So we got a question in chat. Do you guys think Viserys is a good king? I think, in my opinion, yes and no. I think he's a good king in terms of like trying to make everyone happy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's also selfish because he wants to make everyone happy, and including himself, and not thinking about the betterment of the kingdom. I think that that will ultimately lead to his downfall, in my opinion.
Yeah,
That is.
yeah, for sure. Same with me. The biggest character in Game of Thrones here reminds me of is Robb Stark.
Yes.
Because Robb Stark, at first when he was fighting the Lannisters, he was winning. He was making all the right choices. But then him at his youth, being I think he was still a teenager actually during that time. He started making teenage choices, like killing his allies for murdering peasants, also marrying the person based on what he wants, not based on what's good for his kingdom or what will get him ahead. Then he paid the ultimate price, which is at the Red Wedding. So I imagine it's gonna be the same with Viserys. Like, he had good intentions, but there's a good chance his selfishness will get the best out of him. I wouldn't be surprised if he does more of those choices later on in the season. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's same opinion. He's good in terms of trying to achieve the best outcome, but he's making pretty selfish decisions for sure.
Yeah. And I like the fact that you brought up like Robb Stark, like that definitely like is a very, very good comparison. It's just like, yeah, he basically is sort of doing what Viserys is doing right now. Like he wants everyone to have a good outcome, right? He wants everyone to have to have the best ending, but then he started thinking selfishly, and then he's not thinking about like, oh, I should have probably, like, at the twins, I should probably marry one of his daughters, and then like it's just he like you said, like it was the ultimate ending, right? So like he got what he deserved. It sucked, but the fact that like you promised, and like I'm not sure he made an oath or something like that.
He did.
Yeah, I made an oath to marry one of your daughters, and then I'm like, nope, I'm gonna fucking go into the forest and marry this other girl. And then like the fact that, was it his uncle? Like his uncle, like he goes to his uncle's wedding, right? And then he sees like, oh, he actually has attractive daughters. Like, oh well, too bad. Now you're dead. Like it doesn't matter now, Mr. Hindsight, right? So but yeah. But man, what were your thoughts on this last scene, this last battle on the beach scene?
Yeah, production value wise, yeah, it's amazing. I mean, setting aside plot armors, like, yeah,
Mhm.
he's so not gonna die in the scene for sure. Even though it looks like it's gonna be, it's not. It's like, especially when he got shot. Everyone already knows he's gonna live one way or
Yeah.
another.
Mhm.
Like this is the, like, after transitioning the scenes to the crab feeder, like looking, okay, he knows he's fucked. The crab feeder knows he's about to lose.
Yeah.
Then yeah, so it shows Damon's courage, I suppose. It symbolizes courage, like going out there, all those archers on his own. It demonstrates courage and doing what it takes to win,
Mhm.
like doing whatever it takes to win.
Yeah.
Pretty good, pretty good. The only thing is, it's towards the end of that scene. My issue is towards the end, where the crab feeder, like, just
Sure.
walks away. He
Yeah.
just walks away into his hideout. Then you see the scene where Damon follows him. Then the next scene that after that, after a few more fight scenes, is you see Damon carrying the half body of the crab feeder. Again,
Mhm.
I think the crab feeder was done dirty here. It's like, I would have wanted to see at least a conversation between the two and the actual fight,
Mhm.
rather than the crab feeder already dead by the in the final scene. Yeah, it's like the crab feeder had, because this episode implied that the crab feeder had so much more. Like I mentioned earlier, the very beginning, like the hostage or the person tied up, like, curse you, Prince Drehar. So he has a backstory. We know that he has a backstory, but it wasn't fleshed out, unfortunately.
Well,
Maybe because they were trying to rush it out. Like
yeah.
yeah, there are far bigger plots to talk about than the crab feeder. I'm assuming that's the case, but in my
Yeah.
opinion, what's the rush? Like, isn't it you're trying to make the Game of Thrones world universe bigger? So why not flesh out his story? Like, I mean, I wouldn't mind having a few episodes with the crab feeder, like learning his backstory, how he ended up being the crab feeder, stuff like that. I wouldn't
Mhm.
have mind, honestly. I think that would have enriched the Game of Thrones universe. But I probably priorities for the showrunners, like, we need to focus more on the Targaryen plot and their downfall. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's my only issue with the final scene and the first scene of this episode.
Thanks for checking out this segment of the Project Eggroll podcast. If you like what we do here, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you will know next time when we go live. We do go live every Saturday at 8 p.m. Once again, we are just getting started. Tons of more video to come. Thanks, and we'll see you guys next time.